Hello, welcome. Today we are going to be doing a language planning session using a Notion template from Anna Lenks, who is a YouTuber that I really enjoy watching. And so let's get started. I think I'm going to do a vision board or something at the end to use for a cover here, but for now, let's just get into it. So my top priority is Spanish. Then probably long term, I would say German, ASL, Korean. There are probably more than these, definitely more than these, but I think I'm going to leave it at that for now because it doesn't really matter what other ones I want to study. Right now, Spanish is my top priority, ASL, and Korean. How much time? I would say, so I am actually going to look at my Polylogger app. So my daily average for Spanish is actually 35 minutes, which is kind of better than I was thinking it would be. I would like to get that higher because I think it's been significantly higher lately because I've been doing more listening, and you can often do that, a little bit easier than focus studying or reading. So I'm going to say 7 hours. I'm going to say 7 hours a week. So Spanish, ASL, and Korean. I think I'm alright with that. So for Spanish here, I think I'm going to go back in later and add in a bunch of shows that I want to watch and that sort of thing. So every week in Spanish, I would like to read some articles, do some audio-only content because I am really focusing on improving my listening, read a book, read from a book aloud at least once. Korean, pretty much just need to be building vocabulary. Got my languages in here, and I added a column for dabbling because Korean is kind of a dabble, to be honest, but also I just find it so inspiring to be around other languages, even if I'm not actively studying them. I just find it so inspiring, and so I want to make sure that I am incorporating enough of that into my routine proactively so that I stay inspired to keep learning. So in Spanish, I would like to be able to read and speak about and listen to other people speak about any topics of interest to me. So Spanish is a language that I would like to achieve an extremely high level of fluency in. I am going to put down a possible goal of going to grad school in Spanish. I think that would be amazing, and that kind of goes along with this goal of, at some point, for some amount of time, living in a Spanish-speaking country. So ASL, American Sign Language, for anyone who's not familiar with it, I have learned some ASL and I have forgotten almost all of it, and So I would like to refresh what I know and also achieve a higher level of fluency. I do like ASL, and I think that it is very useful also. Like, my sister is fluent in ASL, so if we are in a crowded place or a loud place or somewhere where we have to be silent, it's very useful to be able to communicate in ASL. But also, I am primarily learning it for accessibility reasons. I would like to be able to communicate with anyone, including people who sign for their native or primary language, and so I would like to be able to do that. At this time, it's not something that I am aspiring to, native-like fluency in, but I would like to be able to interact with people in a meaningful way in ASL. Somewhat similarly for Korean, at this time I don't have a goal of achieving a high level of fluency in Korean, but I would like to be able to kind of maybe understand some shows with subtitles at some point. I think that would be really cool. Primarily, I'm attracted to Korean because of how beautiful I think that the alphabet and the writing system is. I think that it is just the coolest looking thing. I definitely get captured by the Korean study content and all of people's amazing handwriting and everything. And I have really, really enjoyed all of the Korean television that I have watched, and I have been reading a lot of translated fiction from Korea. So I think it would be really cool to be able to learn more about the culture. I recognize that the effort that it would take to get to that level of Korean would be very intense, so I'm not sure that I'm ready to commit to that at this point, but at this time I just kind of want to keep it in the rotation. For life goals for Korean, we're gonna say be able to understand some Korean television, gain a better understanding of Korean history and culture, and we're going to say visit Korea. Dabbling. For life, I want to maintain an interest in all languages and cultures. Okay, so for now, I'm going to put my 2022 goals in as I wrote them at the beginning of the year. So these are just the goals from my Spanish 2022 goals video. For ASL, I would like to exceed my prior level of ASL knowledge, which if you know anything about ASL, I basically got to the part where they teach you qualifiers in ASL, and then I started to learn that, and then I kind of fell off. So I was actually okay, I could construct sentences and stuff. It just wasn't always the most fluid in ASL, structure as opposed to kind of English structure. Obviously also needed a lot more vocabulary and stuff. But Korean, I have the short stories in Korean book by Tuttle Publishing, and I would like to be able to read some of those by the end of the year. That is very optimistic, but here's hoping. And for dabbling, I would like to either dabble, like do Duolingo or something like that, and or watch media in French, Portuguese, Hindi, and then I put Norwegian. It's kind of any Nordic, Scandinavian languages. I've seen so many shows on Netflix lately that look really good, that Northern European language family. So I am actually going to get rid of the 6-month goal, because I don't know what I will want to do then. I'm making this quarter 2. And so at the end of quarter 2, I will reevaluate and set my quarter 3 goals. So those will be my 6-month now goals, and I don't know yet what I want those to be. So We're just sticking with yearly and quarterly. So for quarter 2, I would like to finish the Hunger Games series in Spanish, finish the first 3 Harry Potter audiobooks. Oh, I'd like to read an article every week, so I guess we'll say read 12 plus articles weekly, parroting, reading aloud. Okay, so my quarter 2 ASL goal is to reach the prior level of ASL knowledge. It's maybe a stretch, but we'll see how it goes. I think it will come back to me really quickly. It has so far what I have reviewed, but yeah, we'll see. Korean quarter 2, I would like to solidify the alphabet. I do know it, but I don't necessarily remember it very well. We're going to say learn the top 50 words. I know that that's not necessarily the best way to learn things, like out of context and from a vocabulary list, but like, I think I just need to get some words in my brain. And dabbling, let's do French. I would like to dabble in French right now. And again, this could be like once in this whole quarter. Like, I'm not trying to add a language, far from it. I think that this is probably too much, but oh, I want to add German up here. So those are my goals. So we are going to get rid of daily log because I track things on Polylogger on my phone. So I think that I started somewhere around January 2020, but I did not do very much for most of that time, but we are going to include that. So I think my favorite part of this was looking at the goals and really thinking about what I want long-term and short-term. I love goal planning. I'm not so much a granular, down to the minute planner. I might be if I, felt like I had more free time, but yeah, this was really, really fun and helpful. And now I think I'm going to make a vision board for this cover because that seems fun. Take me somewhere far away from here, from here. Take me somewhere far away from here, from here. Far away from here, from here. Take me somewhere far away from here, from here. I need you to listen, listen. I want you, I miss you, I miss you, I still miss you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You got me in my feelings, can't fight the way I feel. You got me in my feelings, don't wanna make it real. You got me in my feelings, can't fight the way I feel. You got me in my feelings, don't wanna make it real. You got something that I need, yeah I need. Ooh, ooh, all I want is you. All all I want is you. All ooh, take me somewhere, take me somewhere, take me somewhere, take me somewhere, take me somewhere far away from here. So here is the finished product for now. I have my cover and there's 2 different things, so if I get sick of one I can switch to another one. Thank you to Anna Lanks for making this template. This was really, really fun to fill out, and it is making me very excited to continue with my language learning. And if you'd like to follow along, then subscribe. Thank you!